I'm going to show you how to make this delicious crab cake stuffed salmon. Let's get to cooking. So we're going to start off with our ingredients. This is sockeye salmon, wild caught salmon fillet from Sam's. I have some lump crab meat, minced garlic, mayonnaise, and some seasonings, salt, egg, pepper, breadcrumbs, and a few seasonings. And I have a scale to measure the weight of the different fillets I make, as well as some scallions and some lemon. So I have a small pan here on the side and a glass bowl, and these are the few ingredients you need in addition to some parsley. So I'm going to start off with my green onions. I'm just going to give it a quick chop. We're going to use these scallions inside of our crab cake as well as to garnish on the outside. And I am using fresh parsley. You could just as easily use dried parsley, but I like the flavor profile of using both. So my salmon fillet is absolutely delicious. I washed it and dried it off, and now I'm going to cut it into about 3 pieces and just have a small piece of the tail left over, but it's mainly 3 pieces that I'm going to stuff. So I'm just trying to get even cuts. Sockeye salmon is a bit thinner than the regular farm-raised salmon. It has more nutrients and healthier fat and tends to be a little bit more expensive. So for this stuffed salmon recipe, I'm just going to make one slit in the salmon without cutting through the skin. So that's very important. There is a natural line that looks like it's already cut in the salmon in some cases, so I'm just using that to make my cut. And basically we're going to stuff it with a delicious crab cake mixture. So I'm using this 8-ounce container of lump crab. This lump crab is not cheap at all. So compare prices at your local grocery stores as well as your Sam's Clubs and Costco's to see where you can get the best price. But it is absolutely delicious, so that's why I enjoy making this recipe. I'm going to use 1 egg, and I like to crack my egg on the countertop and not the actual bowl because I do not want shells to get into my crab. And I'm only using the egg yolk for this particular recipe. So I have a 1/4 cup measuring cup, and I'm not using precise measurements for everything, but I do know I do not want to overstuff it with the breadcrumbs. So I'm going to start off with 1/4 cup and then mix it. And if I feel like I need more binder, then I will add just a little bit more. So now I'm adding my onion powder, complete seasoning, as well as some poultry seasoning. You also could try smoked paprika or dry mustard. So there's a variety of seasonings you could use. I'm using minced garlic, but you can certainly use powdered garlic if you want to. And I'm using a few tablespoons of mayonnaise to help be my binder. Mayonnaise has oil and egg in it, so it will help bind this crab cake together along with the egg yolk without adding a whole lot of breadcrumbs or crackers for that matter. There are lots of different ways to make delicious crab cakes, and this is just one example that I'm showing you. This is a good recipe to start with. Now, because this is seafood, lemon is a must. It just brightens up the flavor. So in addition to adding lemon juice, I am adding the lemon zest. So I have my KitchenAid zester here. I'll have a link to one of these in the description box below this video. And you just want to zest off the yellow part of your lemon. In addition to that, I'm adding the juice, and because I didn't get my handheld juicer out, I'm just squeezing the cut lemon into my hand to catch those couple of seeds. But if you have the time, go ahead and get your juicer out to make it easier. Give it a light mix, but don't over mix it. And because it is still loose for me, I'm going to add another 1/4 cup of gluten-free breadcrumbs. And you just want to get it basically incorporated, but do not over mix and break up your lump crab. I'm adding a little bit of Old Bay seafood seasoning. You could use the seafood seasoning of your choice. Now I'm adding a handful of my cut parsley as well as my cut scallions. Very fresh and beautiful and vibrant. They will darken a little bit as it cooks in the oven, but I don't mind that at all. So basically, I'm just going to take a handful of my crab cake mixture and stuff it into my salmon fillet. So you want to try to press it into the cut to help it hold into place on top of your fish. And then just give it a gentle mold to help it take shape. And you can see that with the 8 ounces of crab, I was able to get a good amount of crab cake mixture for my 3 big pieces of salmon. and you can actually see the lumps of crab in it as well. So now I have some melted butter that I'm going to pour over my crab cake. It will add flavor to the crab cake. It will also help lubricate the fish so that the skin doesn't stick to the bottom of my pan. So I'm just going to add my pieces into a small pan. You can certainly use a bigger pan with more space, which is what I do later in this video when I make this recipe again. So now I'm just going to drizzle the butter over the top and let it get to the bottom of the pan so that I can rub it on the skin side of my salmon as well. This is quite a bit of butter. You can certainly use less. So I'm adding a little bit more seasoning on top for color as well as the flavor. And look at that, y'all. Look at how beautiful and delicious it looks before we even put it in the oven. So I'm just going to bake this at 400 degrees for about 12 to 15 minutes. You want to be sure you don't overcook your salmon, but you do want the top to get a beautiful golden color. So that's the fine balance. And look at that, y'all. Crab cake stuffed salmon. It smells so good and it looks so delicious. I also made mashed potatoes, green beans, and sauteed scallops that I served on the side and below the fish, and look at how beautiful it is. This is a very impressive meal for any special occasion or just a regular weeknight. So thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel.